But anyway, before we get to that, let's start getting into these games that are coming up this weekend, starting with this one on Friday night. And this, for me, is an intriguing game. We've just looked at the league table. We've just looked at the standings. It's fair to say, none of them. I mean, from Warrington down all the way down to 10th, cannot afford to lose any games. Warrington, maybe Hull KR, if they win 2, perhaps that's going to be enough, maybe 3 for KR because they're 2 points behind Warrington. I think 26, 28 points.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Greg?
I couldn't for a while.
Yes, right.
But now you're back. I don't know what happened.
I'm back. Yeah. Apologise. So what I was saying there before we were rudely
what
interrupted.
happened? Did you drop
Gremlins?
out?
No. My system went and then it brought me back. So I don't know. I think maybe little gremlins in the system, but everybody's still with us. That's all that matters. And what I was saying was, Salford 5 games on the spin now they've lost. Huddersfield with 4 games on the spin before going to Saints. Neither of these 2 teams can afford to lose this one. I think whoever loses this will be quite remarkable if they get into the playoffs from there. It is now a case of must-win games right across the piece. I've not actually looked at this yet, which is rare for me, I have to say. But I think this might be a season where it's the highest points ever to get into playoffs.
Could well be. Yeah, this is both the Giants and the Red Devils, I think, will be disappointed with the season so far. I think both expected to be in a better position. I know I certainly did at the start of the season. I think we both discussed the merits of Giants and Salford in the top 6. I am going purely because it's because they're at home. I'm going Giants 9-17 on this one.
You're going Giants 9-17.
Yeah, purely because they're at home.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look now. That's interesting. So last year as well. I don't think it was as entertaining a season as this year, but last year,
certainly not for us.
It was 28 points Salford last season. The last time that happened, I mean, like I say, I'm looking down here now, 2, 4. So it was actually 30 points in 2019. That was interesting. That's interesting.
That was us, wasn't it? I think that was Warrington.
No, we were 32, Castleford and Hull FC. So I think 28 points is probably. I think if Warrington can pick up 3 wins in the last, I think they should be okay. But like we've said, mate, they have to win these. In terms of who's going where, everybody is now going to Huddersfield with that from you, Greg.
Really 9-17, yeah.
All of us has gone 9-17. The fans forum, Schofield, you, me, we're all seeing it a home win.
Yeah, I think it'll be tight. And I think Salford might even find themselves in the lead at one point during the game. But I think home advantage will tell. As you say, as I think you said earlier, Jake Connor's coming into a bit of form. The Garma's playing well. I think I just fancy Giants for that one. I really do.
Paul Bowman. Absolutely, Paul. Well done. Giants 9-17 by Stephen Massey. Good evening, Stephen, to you. Ian Justin saying if you're back in Huddersfield, he's definitely back in Salford.
Thanks for that. Cheers.
Cowbell Army, bring it home, says Steph Sale. Pretty much for McGilvey, no surprises. Uncle Freddie going the Giants 9-17. I don't think we're too surprised about that if truth was to be known. Right, let's get back into it then. The next game that will be also taking place on Friday. Here it comes. Well, this one, Wigan Warriors taking on Hull FC. This is an interesting game, really interesting game. Hull again. I think that we were a bit concerned, or I was concerned for Hull prior to their last outing against Wakey, and of course battered Wakey 42 points to 4. They were been a bit in and out, in and out. Wigan, though, for me, mate, they're just looking more and more dangerous with every passing week. I can't see past Wigan for this. I'm going Wigan 9-17. I do think Huddersfield might be competitive. Schofield and the fans forum are going 18 plus Wigan. Where are you going, mate?
Wigan have just got their act together, haven't they? All of a sudden, it's just gelled. As happens most seasons, if we're being honest, and I think 18 plus Wigan. You're
going 18 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Wigan. I thought Wigan last time. I mean, it was a professional.
So the whole of the forum have just groaned and gone, "Oh no."
Well, maybe not. What did you say there? 18 plus.
18 plus for Wigan. Yeah.
You're going 18 plus. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw much of the game against Hull KR. It was as expected, really. An understrength KR, but I mean, Wigan. You can only beat what's in front of them. And I don't know if you caught the show while you were away, but we were discussing and get your view on this. Because that was a 64 points to 6 loss, that has massive ramifications for both KR and for Wigan and for Catalan. Because, I mean, it more than half the deficit that Wigan had on Catalan in terms of points difference. If Wigan were to win the League Leaders' Shield on points difference, that was the game. And Adrian Lamb came out and talks about integrity and respect for the game. It would be a real shame if Catalan were to lose by less than 50. It's 58 points there in that game. I think it'd be a real shame. I think this season deserves to go out in a blaze of glory, even the League Leaders' Shield. I just hate to think that Wigan win it on points difference off the back of that game.
Yeah, but that's why we have a squad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's. You can talk about as much about the spirit of the game as you like, but that's why we have squads. And you could understand why Hull KR did it. It didn't ultimately pay off for them. So what would they have rather have done? Not lost by as many points, maybe even.
Well, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Yeah. We said that.
It's not ideal, but it's not against the rules of the game. So, they played fringe squad players, bloodied them, gave them a bit of experience. Yeah, it's not ideal, but I can't really.
Lewis Boardman,
not really.
Lewis Boardman's in the chat. Lewis saying it's backfired this for Hull KR.
It has. It has
always
backfired,
had the chance to.
That's a gamble. If it costs them. It depends what your priorities are, a Challenge Cup win or top 6. And at that moment in time, for KR, the Challenge Cup win was a more, and not now, but was a more possible outcome for the season.
Yeah.
Than a top 6 finish. It's.
Absolutely. All I will say is Wigan won it like clockwork. If Brewdog want to sponsor us for next season, by all means do. May I just say, a very tasty little affair, this one. A hint of tangerine, sir, in this one. Tangerine! A wonderful summer brew. Greg, welcome back, sir. All the best.
All the very best. It's not Mango Unchained, though, sir.
It's not Mango Unchained. And remember everybody, the grand final, Jolly Boys outing, and ladies as well. Get your tickets for the grand final. Me and Reggie will be in the Piccadilly Tap, probably about 1:30 on game day. Come and join us.
Don't tell me in the 24-hour clock.
Don't give it, Greg, on a 24-hour clock. But get yourself down there.
Tell me in primary school numbers, not secondary school numbers.
Absolutely. The Piccadilly Tap. Get in your diaries now. Grand final day, 1:30. We'll have a couple of nice Mango Unchains. Make our way down to the stadium, and then back in the Tap after for a little bit of a debrief before getting the trains home for more Mango.
Oh yes.
Looking forward to that.
Other brands are available.
Other brands, of course, are available. Right now, we've done our bit of promoting again. If Brewdog want to sponsor us next season,
if they want to sponsor us next year,
by all means do. We'd love to have you. But yeah, right, back at it. Let's get back into the next game. So just to recap there, went off on a bit of a tangent. Everybody's going Wigan. I'm going 9-17. Everybody else going Wigan by 18 plus. Do you know what? They'll probably be right. But there you go. Then we get to this one. Can Hull KR bounce back after that disappointment at Wembley? I mean, say disappointment. They did themselves proud, of course. They come up against Saints. Saints just going about the business really, really well. No surprises, the fans forum and Gary Schofield going an 18 plus of here to St Helens. Can KR get themselves back up? Can they get back on the bus?
This is the one game, maybe apart from Wigan, that Hull KR would not have wanted after a Challenge Cup final. They will have not wanted a Saints away or a Wigan away or quite possibly a Hull away. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I think the manner in which they lost the game will take a lot more out of them than people will imagine. Yeah. The emotional kind of disaster, if you like, that they'll have felt when that drop goal sailed over.
Yeah.
And it will take a lot of them some time to bounce back, I think. Yeah. And I'm going for Saints 18 plus.
Well, I would have gone Saints 18 plus. I'm going to bring it down to 9-17. And the reason I'm bringing it down 9-17 is because the Matty Lees was upheld. And of course, they've got a lot of big units now missing. That's another one down for this game.
Yeah, I took that into account, but I think even taking that into account, I think Hull KR might prove me wrong. And again, I'm not being disrespectful to Hull KR, but you know, we've seen Warrington won it against Saints, and the actual physicality and emotion of that game, I think they won one game between that from the cup final to the end of the season. They won one game and scraped into the top six. And to lose that game, it's the first final for 5 years, and to be within a couple of feet of winning with a drop goal, and then to have it snatched away. I think the emotional rather than the physical impact of that will tell with Hull KR this weekend, I think.
Well, all I'm going to say is let's not lose sight of the fact that Hull KR beat Saints early in the season, 26 points to 14.
Yes,
so we know they've got it in them. Saints, of course, will want retribution for that. Of course, they will. But yeah, in the spirit of trying to, not have everyone a blowout this week, let's hope that Hull KR takes some supporters down there. Always tough on a Friday night and all that. And let's hope that KR do themselves proud. But I think Saints, like I say, just really going about the business well. I've got to go Saints 9-17 for that one. But yeah, should be an interesting game. Right. We now come to game of the week. So
there's only one game of the week.
There's only one game of the week, and it had to be this one this week. So let's do the trailer, and then we'll come and have a big chat about it. Here comes the Super League Raw game of the week.
Could be a chance here. Loops the ball wide, and he didn't get his second of the night.
The stakes could not be bigger. It's absolutely massive. We've been waiting for this one ever since Wakey have gone on their run. It couldn't be closer. It couldn't be tighter. It's not all or nothing just yet, but you do feel the winner of this game could just be the team to stay up. It really, this is just fascinating. Of course, new coaches at Castleford. Lasty, of course, sacked after the last game. New coaching setup coming in. Of course, Austin will make his debut as well. So there's Castleford will fancy this, such new voice in the changing room. Austin, a little bit of sprinkle for them. But of the two teams, Wakey are in the better form at this moment in time. Deary me.
They genuinely went one way and then the other thinking about this game this week, who's going to win. Like you say, I mean, it's a strange one. It's a strange one, isn't it? With everybody was suggesting that Powell might be going back to Castleford.
Yeah.
And that's not happened. And is it right that Sean Long's gone to Wakefield? Did I hear that right while I was away?
Sean Long's at Wake. I mean, unbelievable, mate, that he was sacked from Featherstone while you were away. That was just bonkers.
Well, I genuinely, because of all the rumours that were flying around, when he was sacked from Featherstone, I'm thinking, well, that's the rumours that he's Warrington's new assistant coach nailed on the head.
Yeah.
And then he ends up at Wakefield.
Yeah.
Danny Ward, new coach at Castleford.
Well, they wanted Ward before Last. They were massive disappointment when Last got it and Ward didn't get it. Obviously, now they've given it Ward, and he's. I mean, to be fair to Ward, he's done.
He's a decent coach.
He's done his apprenticeship. He deserves his shot. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I'm still kind of weighing this one up. I really am.
Well, while you're weighing it up, while you're weighing it up, I think this goes to show, and this is the wonderful thing about rugby league. We know we've got a few Castleford and Wakey fans in the forum, but no other game have we had as many comments on in terms of predictions than this one. They've flown in. So let's just go through them.
Go through while I try and decide who.
Yeah, so Freddie McGill, he's going 1-8 to Wakey. Just to let you know, the fans form are 1-8 for Wakey. Gary Schofield 9-17 Wakey. Kieran Unsworth saying he can't wait for it, should be a cracker. John Wilkinson going Castleford 9-17. Joel Scholes 1-8 Wakey. Paul Sanderson sees it Wakey by 12. Steve Massey Wakey 1-8. Kieran Unsworth Cass 1-8. Steph's just getting the Brewdogs in and deciding. Ian Johnson, Casford 9-17. Greg Roach, Cass 1-8. Paul Borman says Wakey win, didn't say how much. Darren Soletico, what a great name that is. Wakey by 6. Ryan Birch, Wakey 1-8. Can see a golden point. Lewis Borman.
That's a good shout, golden point,
Graham Parrish going drop goal, Wakey to win it. Interesting. JT Morris, Wakey by 6. Saying that Ward's a great coach. Couldn't agree with you more as well. Ian Judson sees it as well. Danny Ward, absolutely the man to get Cass out of trouble. And Anthony Cox, he's going the way of Cass. So more love for Wakey in the chat than there is for Cass. Anyway, I don't know if that's helped you. I'm going Cass. I'm actually going. I'm going Cass. I'm going Cass 1-8. I am.
My first prediction that I wrote down was Wakefield 9-17.
Right.
My second one was Castleford 1-8. And do you know what? I'm going to go with my first prediction simply because it was the first score I wrote down. And I'm going to go Wakefield 9-17.
Joel saying it's a big shout. It is a big shout. That's me, not you, the 1-8 Cass.
You can, Austin and Widdop.
Yeah.
Didn't work at Warrington.
Do you know the mad thing about this? The mad thing about this game for me, if this was at Castleford, I'd have probably fancied Wakey. But because
if it was at Castleford, I'd have gone Castleford.
No, I'd have fancied Wakey because of the pitch.
Because of the size of the pitch. I'd have gone Castleford if it was at Castleford.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's at Wakey, especially with the signing of Austin, Eden back. I mean, Greg Eden, he just scores tries for fun, doesn't he? Eden's back as well for Cass. I just think it'll suit them. I just think it'll suit them a little bit. One thing's for certain, mate. I think it's going to be fascinating. I think it's going to be fascinating.
It has got the potential to be a fantastic game. or an absolutely awful game. And there's got to be no in between. It's not going to be a decent game. It's going to be a edge of the seat thriller.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be an awful game.
Yeah,
There's
like the Leeds Cast game early in the season. The
Yeah.
Cast just about took. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think one thing's for certain: you won't be able to keep your eyes off that on Friday night. It's great entertainment for the neutral, and it is. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I have to say, we've been waiting for it ever since. We've had one eye on it, probably
For a few weeks.
Well, yeah, probably after that Wigan game. I think once Wigan, they got the 6 points on the board, but then of course when they beat Warrington, it's absolutely game on now. It's going to be phenomenal. Brian Birch, imagine the scenes. I wish the Giants weren't playing because I would have gone to this one. It's huge because what we do know about these two teams that when they against each other. This is all enough. It really is. I mean, this is going to have a massive bearing because they both, if you look at the run-ins, let's have a quick look at that. We've got a bit of time. We'll start with Wakey. So they play Cass. They then go away to Salford, home to Saints Catalan, away to Lee, home to Hull KR. Personally speaking, dependent after this game, Salford away. Again, depends what Salford.
Yeah,
then they've got 3
one.
games there: Saints, Catalan, and Lee. They're not getting it. For me personally, I don't think Wakey, are getting anything out of those 3. So they've got 3 shots at 2 points. If they don't beat Castleford, that reduces to 2. Salford away, not going to be easy, and then Hull KR at home. And of course, they'd have to win 2. Sorry, mate, they'd have to win 2 because they'd have to win 2, wouldn't they? Because if Castleford beat them on Friday, they'd be 2 points behind Cass. So the likelihood is they would have to win 2 because of the points difference. So it then becomes for me. It's of the 2. Let's have a quick look at Cass, and I'll bring you in. So they're the Wakey ones. Cass go to Saints. So they play Saints at home. Then they go to Warrington. Then they go to FC. If FC is still in the mix for the 6, that's not easy. Then it's Wigan away. Then it's Leeds away. I'll be honest. Of the 2, Wakey after this game on paper would probably fancy the chances to pick up points more so than Castleford would. But if whoever loses this for me, I think almost £1 million game. This,
I was going to say this is almost like that Salford, was it Salford Hull KR £1 million game a couple of years ago.
Well, these played £1 million game. If you remember,
I will push. I will put my nose out there and say whoever loses this game will go down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I firmly believe that whoever wins this stays up, whoever loses this goes down. And I don't want to upset any of our Castleford friends. I just get my initial thought when I looked at it and saw the teams and looked at form. My initial thought was 9-17 Wakefield, and I'm going to go with that. For no other reason, that was the first score that came into my head. But I genuinely believe that whoever loses this game will go down.
I think it's that big. It's that it's all. I mean, I think I put on the trailer that's going on Twitter and going on Facebook. It's all or nothing. Maybe. There's still plenty of rugby league still to play this game. My Lord. Are they going to have to put on something? Of course, what we know about Wakey as well. I mean, that win against Warrington, and again, if you look at let's just take a quick look at this as well. I mean, all right, new leadership in. I think it's clear. Same with Warrington with Darryl Powell. I think, Castleford weren't playing for Andy Last. But let's just take a quick look at this as well, which is something to bear in mind. I'm going to go back to probably the end of June. So last game in June, Castleford nilled to St Helens. They then lose to Lee. They scored 16 points. They then lost to Hull FC. They lost they scored 18 points. Hull, they scored 16 points. And then they were nilled again by Huddersfield, 28 points to nil. You look at Wakey, and who actually Wakey have played in that period as well. Salford, at home, won 32 points to 6. They then come up against Wigan, Golden Pointer, nothing to be ashamed of there, 27-26. Then they played Huddersfield, that same Huddersfield team that did a number on Castleford. They beat them 34 points to 6. Oh, no, sorry, they lost. No, sorry, they lost that 34 points to 6. It was us they beat 42 points to 6.
Yeah.
And then they went down 42 points to 4 against Hull FC. Barmy. But of the two, you know, the one, the team that is at the moment are best showing the better attacking numbers are Wakefield.
Yeah. And you know, it was a fine balance. It's a fine balance looking at both sides. And, you know, I think I tipped Castleford to be in the mix at the start of the season. I really did think that Miller and Widdop would spark them into life, and it's just not happened. Maybe Blake Austin.
I cannot remember.
I think I had them at 6th.
Oh, look, here we go. Here we go. I'll tell you now.
Go on.
Maybe
6 or 7. Maybe 6 or 7.
No, well, and here's the mad thing. You had them at 5th. You had Castleford at 5th. I had them outside the top 6. I had them at 7th.
I think I had Warrington 6th, Castleford 5th.
No, you had Warrington 4th, Castleford 5th, Leeds 6th. You had. I mean, God, mate, I had Lee 11th and you had Lee 10th. I mean, what do we know?
Exactly.
We'll come back to that at the end of the season. Right, let's move on to Saturday. The Challenge Cup winners take on the current leaders of Super League, the Lee Leopards against Catalan. I believe that the celebrations in Lee have been pretty robust, and they will have to go some, I think,
I can still hear them from here now. They're still going on.
I think, but then again, saying that, you know, but I was surprised by how the team that they put out against Leeds. I really was. I didn't expect them to be as brave, and it just goes to show that Lee want to fight on both fronts. The side they put out against Lee, the emotion, the partying, everything that went on. I mean, very difficult to back up from a Challenge Cup loss or defeat.
Yeah,
they couldn't have picked a worse opposition to play. The four, and it's not that as well. The emotion. Lee will be sold out on Saturday. You know, it's going to be the Challenge Cup coming home to the Leopards then. So I get even more emotion on Saturday. The Fans Forum and Gary Schofield. Schofield sees it Catalan 9-17. The Forum see it Catalan 18+. I'll be interested to see what Steph thinks on this. I'll have a look in the chat in a minute. I'm not backed against Lee much this season. I am in this one. I think Catalan are a quality outfit. I really, really do. I just think because of the emotional side of it, I'm going to go by 2 scores. I'm going to go Catalan 9-17. Where are you going, mate?
I probably won't be allowed back in Lee again. Back in Lee wants to say this, but I think winning the Challenge Cup could sometimes take more out of you than losing it. And I think I agree with you. And I think Catalan 18+. I really do. I think the emotion of the win, Wembley takes more out of players than you think is possible. It drains them. You know, you've seen it's very, very rare that a team that's appeared in the Challenge Cup final then goes on to win the week after, win or lose. And we've got lots of friends in Lee, and I do apologise, but I think the emotion of the day, and it'll be a party atmosphere, and I just think Catalan will be too strong on the day because of the emotion of what the Lee players went through last weekend. Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, apologies. I'm sure I'm going to get. So
what score, mate? What score?
18+ to Catalan.
18+.
Yeah.
I'm going 9-17. Let's take a look in the chat. There's a lot of people who've flown in on the chat here for this one. So let's right. So we've got Lewis Boardman. I think Lee will have a hangover from the final and a literal hangover from the celebrations. Steph Sale, not yet. Actually, no, he's just on about the Wakey game there, I think. Lee Bylock dropped goal. Golden Point, Paul Clegg, John Wilkinson, Catalan 10-16, Joel backing Leopards. Paul Sanderson, Leopards by 4. Graham Parish, Catalan 18. Ian Judson, Catalan 18. 2 points, Joel thinks, to Lee. Ryan Birch, Catalan 18 plus. Steph is 1,000 tickets to go for a sellout. Has to be a sellout, that one. I can't see it being anything but. Benny McGilvey, Lee 1-8. Kieran Unsworth struggling, but we'll go Lee 1-8. So yeah, plenty in there. Steph Sale, Lee 1-8, but he is putting in a caveat in there at the moment. He's inspired by Brewdog, so we'll leave that one on the shelf. Obviously, he's not left the Brewdog on the shelf.
He's not left them on the shelf. No,
he's not got home yet. He's not got home yet from Saturday. He's still out.
Upside down behind a telly in a pub near Wembley.
He's watching this in a street somewhere outside McDonald's having a Big Mac. Anthony Cox 9-17 Lee. Phil Hunt 9-17 Lee. I mean, look, it's again great that it's on the telly, and do you know what? We lead this season.
No, I would be. I wouldn't be surprised if Lee won 18 plus.
Yeah, well, isn't it great though to have games on a Saturday at midday?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Around midday, it's wonderful. And I think it's a 3 o'clock of this, but wonderful.
Wonderful. And do you know what? The first weekend, the first time in a long, long time that Leeds Warrington hasn't been on TV.
How refreshing. How refreshing. Speaking of which, there you go.
Could have been scripted, sir. Could have been scripted.
Leading to it. I mean, again, this is an interesting game. Both sides desperate for a win. Warrington desperate for a win. I think they need probably 2, 3 would absolutely clinch a playoff place for Warrington. Leeds. Lot of turmoil. I mean, get your take on that as well now, Greg, actually, whilst we've got a minute. This happened while you were away. Don't know if you caught it, but Blake Austin was sold under the nose of Owen Smith, and we were having a chat about that. It just didn't sit well with us at all.
He slagged Gary Hetherington off, didn't he, apparently?
He did, but I mean, wouldn't you think that Hetherington would speak to his coach prior to making that decision?
Yeah. Yes, she would. Like I say, a year's worth of news happened in the time I was in Florida, and it was hard to keep up sometimes. It's one of the strangest moves of the season. Blake Austin to Castleford, I think. Is he on loan? Is he on loan
till the end of the season?
And then he's going. Rumours he's going to. Was it Catalan or Featherstone? Featherstone, sorry, to get promoted.
And also, by all accounts, it's the odd NRL club as well that I don't see that. I think he will stay over here.
No, I think if Featherstone get promoted, I think that's his likeliest destination. I mean, it doesn't sit well, does it, when the owner sells a player under the coach's nose? That's it's not good. It's not good.
It's not good, mate. It's not good. Leeds, of course, off the back of a 3-game losing streak. They've had a lot of hard luck, actually, in that period. They only lost by a point to Hull KR. They lost by 4 points to St Helens. And then, of course, they lost to Lee by 7. Warrington, of course, on a horrendous losing streak. But, of course, Gary Chambers, Richie Marshall and Martin Gleeson, of course, back at the club in an advisory capacity in terms of attacking. And by all accounts, the players have really warmed to his philosophies around attacking. That'll be interesting to see as well. So, again, both sides desperate for a win. They need to kickstart some sort of momentum if they're going to be anywhere near competitive come the playoffs. I'm going Warrington 9-17. The fans forum are going Leeds 9-17, and Gary Schofield is going Leeds 1-8. Where are you going, mate?
I'm going to the game because I'll be covering the women's game beforehand. Leeds versus Warrington. Hopefully, my daughter's playing, but Warrington are in an awful mess. They're in an awful mess. I mean, you've probably discussed ad nauseum while I've been away the situation we find ourselves in. I think Leeds 9-17.